whole life ahead of her. She hasn't even lived not even a quarter of her life, and it's already gone.
On Sunday, Claudia Romo laid a candle for a stranger whose story has left her heart in pieces. In the alleyway next to her home, a woman identified by family as Sierra Evans had her life violently ripped away just days after she turned 19. Family says she personified joy. She loved her siblings and parents fiercely, and she was a hard worker holding a job with UPS.
No matter what the person did, they never deserved to be gunned down like that, especially not that young. It was a whole baby, 19 years old.
Romo says she came home late after working a double Friday, but never saw anything in the dark alleyway. She woke to the massive police response Saturday morning.
It just shook me. I just froze. I didn't know what to do or how to react to that.
Romo claims she was told by officers they believe the shooting may have happened shortly before midnight Friday, not long before she got home. It wasn't until more than 9 hours later when police responded to the 9500 block of South Avenue N. A neighbor found Sierra's body and called 911. I had to be strong, says Jose Vasquez, who has issues with his heart and knew he needed to get someone there to help. He came out to the garage to feed the cats living outside his home, and that's when he says he saw Evans laying on the ground. Romo says investigators recovered spent casings from her yard after multiple shots pierced her fence. She says she fears for the safety of her own children, one just a year younger than Evans, and sent them away until she feels it's safe for them to come back.
I'm still in shock. I don't even know how to feel still. It's scary, it's overwhelming, it's stressful.
Family of Evans says they're heartbroken and they need to know what happened because they need justice. Evans had plans to someday become a mom, but all of that was taken away. Instead, they're now planning her funeral. 10th Ward Alderman Peter Chico also sharing his sympathies. He wrote, quote, "I am saddened by this tragic incident. This was a young woman who had her life ahead of her. My heart goes out to her family, and I will be working with the Chicago Police Department going forward."
I hope they get caught, and I hope they get what they deserve.
Reporting.
Life is so fragile. It really is. It's so fragile. We treating life, and our community is treating life like we got respawns, like it's Call of Duty, like we can just start over. And the life we live and a culture that we've subjected ourselves to is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, in my opinion. I mean, it's not even my opinion. It's just crazy. The neighbor said that she had to send her kids away to make sure that they was able to grow up, and you can't even grow up in a Midwest city like Chicago. Instead, you got a body being found in the middle of the alleyway. Nobody is reporting it missing. Nobody tripping over it. If it wasn't found by a neighbor and they cats, then it wouldn't even be a thing. Bullet holes is all everywhere. Police don't know anything about it. Chicago didn't remove shot spotter. So we can't even proactively alert the police in Chicago that's down over 2,000 police officers to try to figure out if it was real gunshots that was fired somewhere so that you'll be able to find out where the body came from. Forget the first 48. We ain't even got to worry about the first 48. Just call the coroner. You know what I'm saying? Call the ambulance. Go ahead and identify the body and just keep it moving because nobody is being caught in Chicago either way. Right? Two different things that I want to say about this. First of all, before we get into it, let me preface this by saying that condolences to the family. She's right. Unless she's committing some wild crimes, then unless you're defending yourself, is no reason to take a life. Because again, that life can't come back. We don't know who these people are. We don't know, what life that they're leaving behind, who's going to be brokenhearted as a result of it. But it leads me to my first point, and that the cultural norm is that black lives don't even matter to black people. It's almost to where, and it's true, our culture commits the majority of the crimes. And these are not things that we have to worry about other people doing to us. And we so busy trying to have a conversation about whether or not it's police or is some kind of race thing. No, we are doing it to ourselves. Our lives never mattered to each other. Never. Never mattered to each other. at all. In my 42 years on this earth, regularly, even as a person that travels, you know, get money, don't have money, in the hood, not in the hood. You know the thing that I hear on a regular basis? Hey, Ty, hey, make sure you be careful about your location. Hey, make sure that you got that blicky on you on a regular basis. Hey, make sure you got security. Hey, make sure that ain't nobody following you when you leave this place in order to go home. Hey, they could set you up. For some reason, as a person that is a content creator, living my life clean as hell, ain't involved in nothing, not one thing. And I'm using myself as an example because I want to illustrate a point of how the culture is toxic. As a person that is not involved in anything, not a drug, not a transaction, not a transactional gang like Kamala Harris likes to say, nothing. I have to worry about, hey man, make sure you careful. This is the advice that I get from people on a regular basis. Hey man, make sure you careful because you never know what's around the corner. You a public figure. That don't come as a result of white people. That don't come as a result of Hispanics trying to get to me. It's not coming as a result of the Asian community that's going to come after me. That's telling me, AKA, be careful because them boys is going to set you up and it's going to come from somebody that look like me. And black lives never mattered to black people ever in my lifetime. As free as we are to make the decisions that we want to make and the cities that we want to live in, all of that. If you want to just carefree, because I see other content creators on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? I see much bigger, much more public content creators that got faster cars, they got exotic cars. They walk around free and don't have to worry about anybody coming into their space, into their neighborhoods, into their homes, messing up their life, robbing them, and taking their stuff. They don't. They just honest to God don't. And it's even worse for people that live in certain communities because we already know what the consequences is going to be. We already know what the situation is going to be. We already know how things are going to play out. And it is a statistical fact that your daughter or your son have less of a chance of being able to survive in a community of people that look like them versus, and it ain't got nothing to do with money. We see rappers getting prosecuted today. We see the YSLs and Yo Gotti and the Big Jook and the Young Dolph and all of these people. These people are getting killed too. They fool. They against each other. They get money and then they get further against each other. They got more tools to have some young dudes crashing out, putting $100,000 hits on each other. Culturally trash. Culturally trash. Blue cities completely run amok. They let y'all get finesse during these Black Lives Matters protests, and you guess what? You hear zero. Zip. Nobody went back and said, "Hey, Candace Owens was right. It was a fraud organization, Marxist organization. It was people that was paid to go inside of y'all neighborhoods and then divest from y'all neighborhoods by allowing for y'all to tear up and riot in y'all own communities, turning them into food deserts, and y'all fell for the bait over and over and over and over again." Chicago, you can't go down the street in Chicago. The mail carriers is getting robbed for their master keys. And then they spend $700 million on a migrant crisis and they're in debt. They facing a budget deficit of over $1 billion between this year and next year. $250 million this year, $942 million next year. That's insane. But I'm supposed to sit here and subject myself to your narrative in the way that you think? Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, teach Hanley 40% off your first order, 20% off of life, 20% off of life, 40 and 20, 40 and 20. Go and get that. It's a great product. And then last but not least, come and kick it with me in person. The link to come to a live show is in the description. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's unfortunate.